There's a couple other games that I got an eye on that's coming out this year. We've already had so many games come out. It's kind of insane. I think we're going to have quite a few other ones coming this year that should be pretty exciting, as well as, of course, we'll see what happens with Call of Duty. I don't know if you guys saw the news as well. It is not going to be PlayStation exclusive early content anymore. Okay. What do we want to start with? Hackers? That should brighten my mood. No way, dude. I've seen a lot of people complaining about speed hackers on the ground in this game. Making vehicles like boats fly into the sky to max height. And it seems like a lot more of it is happening on Fortune's Keep, but this looks interesting. Here we are. It's a feature. It's welcome to the new season, I guess. All right, so let's see. Call of Duty had a massive deal with Sony. This has been giving them early content for Call of Duty for, well, a decade now. But this is the final year. Call of Duty, it's their final year with the PlayStation deal, which started back in 2015. Xbox's new 10-year contract begins with COD 2024, and it includes the same day releases across PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and eventually Nintendo, with no exclusive content or benefits for any platform, which PlayStation would get exclusive modes. They would get early access to the betas. Oftentimes, I would just buy it on there just to get a couple extra days early access to get content on it and everything. This is a big...
teamwork make a dream work.
Big win for PC, everybody, really, though, and I hope that this is a trend going forwards. Even we saw the exclusivity with Palworld on Xbox now, and now Helldivers is exclusively on PlayStation. Of course, PC gets both of them as well. But it just tears everybody apart, and it seems like more so now with the console wars that have been happening, people are on the same side of like, let's get rid of all of this exclusivity. Before it was kind of, I felt more like, haha, just get a PlayStation. We got all the best stuff. Why do you even own an Xbox? Vice versa with Xbox players and Halo. But I feel like if everybody's just on the same page, especially with over the last couple of years, how everything has just trended in the direction of cross play as well, even cross progression on a lot of games where you could play with people on any platform. We didn't have that 10 years ago when these were even first coming out. You would just be on your own exclusive platform. Now everything's so connected that I feel like it makes way more sense to just let's broaden it out. And this is the future. Obviously, Xbox just acquired Microsoft. And with that, Xbox keeps on pushing I guess it is Xbox, but Microsoft, Xbox, they continue to push for their Game Pass, including all these games on it. Palworld, for example,
teamwork make a dream work.
for free, right inside of the pass. Well, technically you got to buy the pass, but still, this is a big win for them. And look at what is being reported. At least speculated, I guess. Will this year's Call of Duty day one, let's see. Xbox's Phil Spencer suggests the next Call of Duty will launch day one on Xbox Game Pass. I mean, they already get millions of sales every year, regardless of how much people complain. If it's the same exact game, it's DLC, it's all old content. We saw all this content 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever. Millions of people still buy the game, but imagine it's already included on Xbox Game Pass, which already has so many different games that you could play within it. Now that they completely own Activision and there's now no more deal with PlayStation, this could be a massive resurgence. And all the people who are skeptical or not going to want to even buy the game get them into it with the millions of players that are, just on the fence and not willing to spend the money to play Call of Duty, get back into it, try the game, play the campaign. But I thought this was pretty big news if they did this, at least for a lot of the Xbox and PC players. Of course, I play it on PC, but I get it through Battle.net, which is, still Microsoft now too. So maybe this would include here, but more than likely it would be some connection into the actual Xbox app, which I'm not personally a very big fan of. Whenever I can, I just try and get things to where I have a bunch of other games and it's already set up. But nonetheless, let's see if we can see what he specifically said about it. Speaking to GameFile, Spencer said Microsoft plans for all Activision Blizzard games, Bethesda, Machine Games, ID Software, and Xbox Game Studios games to launch on Game Pass day one. That means the game launch straight into the Xbox subscription service the same day they go on general sale. I think they've done in the past where you can still buy like a week or so early access or even a couple days early access before day one of the game. This is how they sell a lot more pre-orders on the games these days, if you even call it a pre-order, but it's or a premium version of the game or something where it's like you play the beta. Everybody can play the beta, but, we got early access to the beta and then early access to the game launch by spending a little bit more money. So there might still be something tied in with that. I wouldn't be surprised. That means the games launch straight into the Xbox subscription service the same day that they go to general sale. Our intent is the full portfolio of games from ZeniMax, Activision Blizzard, and XGS, Xbox Game Studio, will be on Game Pass day one, Spencer says. I've also heard a lot of speculation that even, you're talking about Activision Blizzard, you're also talking about World of Warcraft. They've been working on, maybe they even have some tools out for this already. I'm not super up to date, but World of Warcraft on controller. They've optimized this game so much, even for the absolute junkiest computers that could still run like a base version of the game. What if they had a WoW? Now, they make so much money off the WoW subscription. I can't imagine that they would really want to do that. But, there's also a lot less people that play the game. And if it's more back in the cultural phenomenon that was World of Warcraft back in the day with how many people played this game and how big that it was, I also wouldn't be surprised if they did say, look, let's just try and make this part of the Xbox Game Pass. Maybe they still get more people into the Xbox Game Pass through that. I just got to imagine it would hurt the actual individual support of the game. But I don't know. Microsoft's already announced the upcoming launch of Blizzard's Diablo 4 into the Game Pass as well. I did hear about that. And there's a clear intent to get Call of Duty back catalog into the library as well. But the suggestion of new Call of Duty game launches straight into the Game Pass, as well as somewhat of a surprising one, given Activision's resistance to the idea in the past. Yeah, but it's not up to Activision anymore now, is it? Former Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick had stated he didn't agree, and he's gone. So he didn't agree with the idea of multi-game subscription services as a business proposition. Then speaking to IGN last year, Spencer responded to the opposing ideology saying, well, there's a different person making the decisions. And that there is. I mean, as a player, if you only got to have one subscription and you can get all of these games for it, assuming that the games are still well supported, they're probably still going to have all the microtransactions within it that, if end up popping off, could do well and continue on into it. That's even better. It's easy to see why Spencer would want new Call of Duty games to launch day one on Xbox Game Pass. Given their popularity, they would no doubt boost subscriber numbers. However, AAA publishers have expressed concern about the impact on game sales, especially when it's so guaranteed. Dude, they sell millions of these. It's been 20 years of them selling a new Call of Duty every year. Even last year, they said, we're not going to do it. 2023, we're not having a new Call of Duty. We're going to just be supporting the game that we have, and next year, we'll do something. Ha! Psych! Buy our game. Sony, for example, currently does not release its
Teamwork make the dream
first-party
work.
games day one to the PlayStation Plus subscription, preferring to add them later on. But also, Game Pass is in a lot more places than where Sony's PlayStation Plus subscription is. You can get, I know like PlayStation has PlayStation Now, but a lot of that's like older games, to their point. But Xbox Game Pass does have a lot of current games, old games as well, but that's also available on Quest 3. You could play that in virtual reality, if I'm not mistaken. I actually just got my Quest 3. I got to try that. But you can also play it on your computer or, a lot of different Microsoft devices. Take-Two CEO also remains convinced by Game Pass, speaking during a financial call, said of releasing big games day to date on Microsoft's subscription service. I still don't think it makes sense, and I believe that it's now becoming obvious that it doesn't make sense. It's just a lost opportunity for the publishers. So I wouldn't want to speak for my friend Phil Spencer, but our views remain unchanged. This year's Call of Duty game is expected to be another entry into the Black Ops series and set in the Gulf War. Developed primarily by Treyarch, Call of Duty Black Ops Gulf War reportedly touches on the global conflict fallout after the Cold War. That's similar to the original Black Ops in those series. So this does make sense. It's also been rumored or whatever, talked about that this is going to be the return of zombies, which happened in Black Ops with the Easter eggs and big round-based zombies, everything. Expect to launch in October or November, and based on Spencer's comments, straight into Game Pass, which would be, that would be pretty sick. For now, Spencer said work is being done on the existing Activision Blizzard games at Game Pass. We're going to back-end work to make them come to PC and consoles simultaneously, too. Yeah, but even if they add all the old CODs to it, I know they just shut down a bunch of the old Call of Duties for the sake of some third-party developers. I don't know exactly how it worked, but they created a place that you could go and play all these old Call of Duties, because the actual old Call of Duties, if you play them, especially on PC, you
Teamwork make the dream work.
get your IP leaked, they hack into your computer on the actual game, and then there's mods and other ways that you could play a safe version of the game, because the original developers don't support it anymore and it's completely corrupt. Well, then the safe version was deleted out, and then they brought back old servers on Xbox. I went back and played that recently with Call of Duty Black Ops 1, but a lot of those old games came back online. There was a huge wave of people playing them, and it was really cool to see. So if they could bring all of them back and even put them in one place, I know Halo's kind of done something similar. I think that would, that with the value of all the new ones, man, that's just nuts. It sounds pretty good to me. Is it a good thing? I think individually, while the developers don't like it, is because of the guaranteed sales that they have, and then that goes towards their budget, their profits, and everything individually, right? Versus if it's just on the Game Pass, people might go onto the Game Pass and then end up playing a different game once they have the pass. They might go on there to initially play Call of Duty, and then they might get distracted by some other sports game or whatever, some old Call of Duty game that they don't necessarily have a way to make more money off of and focus them onto the new one, which is still great for Microsoft because they don't care if they've got your base subscription and you could just go play a bunch more games. But to the individual developer who already has the community and the audience and the millions of people that are going to go buy Call of Duty anyways, that directly contributes to their budget. There is an argument of millions of new players that otherwise wouldn't have spent the $60 on the game, just get to play it for free, and maybe they buy a pack for $5, $10, $20, whatever, for some cosmetics. Maybe they buy a battle pass. Maybe they get hooked in on Warzone and continue with that. That very well could happen. And I think that's just the hesitancy to change overall. There's also a lot of people that already have Game Pass, so where it's like, all right, well, are we really going to make a lot of new sales off of this? Are new people going to come to it? Which potentially, if all the PlayStation people see what's happening on Xbox and see the value that they can get at a cheaper price, potentially, I don't know. And I think they're more so trying to set this up for the next generation of consoles. There's a bigger plan going on here where it's like, all right, well, when the PlayStation 6 comes out and the Xbox 1080 or whatever they're going to call this next thing. That doesn't make sense. It's the Series XYZ. Is that going to be the point when, everything is just, they don't even have any more exclusive games on Xbox? That's something else that's been teased and talked about, where, let's say, the exclusive Halo game that you're playing is part of Game Pass, and you could even get the Game Pass on PlayStation, on your PlayStation device. What if they had to have a separate... No, I don't know if they would do a separate store or whatever for that. Maybe on all of our VR headsets when we're all plugged into the grid on our new Apple devices, or just playing this the whole time. I don't know. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. I'm going to keep an eye on all of this. Obviously, I play a lot of Call of Duty, and I'm very interested of how Xbox integrates this into the future. We'll definitely be covering the new game once it does come out as well. So yeah, I'm excited for it, man.